If you don't mind, okay.
Okay. Good morning. It is October 9th, Sunday. I am coming to you from beautiful Sedona, Arizona. And today we're going to be talking about somatic movement. We're going to be talking about somatics and why somatics matter, why we should know this term, why we should care about this term, and all of those good things that come along with it. So before we get into somatics or somatic movement, let's first touch on emotions and how they affect our body. So we've talked about this a bunch, but we're going to keep talking about it because I think it is the secret sauce. It's that missing component that really, when we can really approach people from this trapped emotion, stuff is stored in the body place. Instead of just working on the mind, we also have to really consider the body, this mind-body connection, because there is a connection. And we all may not be living in our bodies a lot. Sometimes I definitely don't live in my body, especially when it's not being kind to me. But we do store stuff in our body that gets stuck, and we can work on the mind all day long. But if we don't remove those trapped emotions and trapped debris, traumas, anything like that out of our bodies, then we don't truly heal and move forward. So let's talk about powerful emotions, including traumatic experience, are felt and expressed in the body in an undeniably physical way. I think we've all probably experienced that at one time or another. They can also become trapped in the body, as we are often taught to suppress our feelings, swallow our words, hold back anger and grief, and not prioritize our need for pleasure and healing. Instead of allowing emotions, which are energy in motion, to flow through our bodies, we end up accumulating them in particular parts of our body. We do this most often with difficult emotions like shame or fear or anger. And when we experience events that emotionally overwhelm us and we're unable to process what is happening, we hide them deep inside us where others can't see them. And we end up hiding them from ourselves too, yet they're still there. The unresolved emotions get trapped in our body where they build and fester, such a great word, and drain our energy, leading to burnout, emotional imbalance, and eventually disease. When we chronically repress emotions, we create toxicity in our body, mind, spirit, but also our hearts. This unprocessed emotional energy is stored in our organs, our muscles, our tissues. It leads to inflammation and chronic health problems, and it undermines our overall well-being. So what is somatics? The definition of somatics, according to Healthline, somatics describes any practice that uses the mind-body connection to help you survey your internal self and listen to signals your body sends about areas of pain, discomfort, or imbalance. The Somatic Movement Center describes somatics as of or relating to the living body. And it has long been used in medical terminology like somatic cell, somatic nervous system, somatic disorder, and somatic pain. Due to its generic definition, oh, hang on, Alex, we have somebody logging in. Hello,
hey, Becky.
Hello, Tiffany. How's it going?
Now I'm in the car.
Okay,
so
perfect.
It's going
perfect.
okay. I'll be listening. And I got kicked off before, so I had to. Say, let me just wait.
Okay, perfect. We are just getting started here. I am recording this class, if that's okay with you.
That's fine.
Okay, perfect. So we just got started. We're talking about somatics, so I'll kind of go back a little bit. I'm going to mute you and, just listen away. Okay, so we were just talking about kind of what is somatics. So according to Healthline, somatics describes any practice that uses the mind-body connection to help you survey your internal self and listen to signals your body sends about areas of pain, discomfort, or imbalance. The Somatic Movement Center describes somatics as of or relating to the living body. And it has long been used in medical terminology like somatic cell, somatic nervous system, somatic disorder, and somatic pain. Due to its generic definition, the term somatic can be used to describe a variety of forms of movement and healing modalities. You may have heard of somatic yoga, somatic experiencing, somatic psychology, somatic therapy, or somatic dance therapy. You may have heard of somatic education even. These practices allow us to access more information about the ways we hold onto our experiences in our body. Somatic experts believe this knowledge, combined with natural movement and touch, can help us work toward healing and wellness. Thomas Hanna, who is an educator in the field of somatics, coined the term in 1970 to describe a number of techniques that share one important similarity. They help people increase bodily awareness through a combination of movement and relaxation. While somatic practices have become increasingly popular in the Western world over the last 50 years, many of them draw from ancient Eastern philosophy and healing practices, including Tai Chi and Qigong. So, dancing, yoga, Pilates, Aikido, Tai Chi, Qigong, all of these practices are somatic in their nature. They are using movements in the body to express and expel trap stuff within our bodies to really make that mind-body connection, a little more cohesive. Because again, we work on the mind a lot, but we don't really work on releasing things from the body as much. And I think a lot of us are doing that more because most of us that are in this network and are doing sound healing or mindfulness in some way. So I think we're already doing a lot of these practices, but it's cool to understand what this is all about. So somatic exercise involves performing movement for the sake of movement. Through the exercise, we focus on our inner experience as we move and expand our internal awareness. So these exercises can help us learn more efficient and effective ways to move and replace older, less helpful patterns of movement. Unlike with typical workouts, we're not trying to do as many exercises as possible. Instead, we're trying to perform each exercise in such a way that it teaches us something about our body and how it moves. So I know for me, sometimes if I'm really, I will say being in Sedona, I feel like I am, the energy of this place is so, I don't know, for me, and I'm pretty grounded. I have a pretty strong bubble and I don't necessarily feel whammied by the energy, but I definitely feel like, I'm having a hard time sleeping. I feel like no matter how tired I am, I just can't go down here. And I also feel like, it is really laying bare all of the things that I know are still stuck within me. It's really pulling, I feel like almost like this red earth is pulling all of this stuff out of me, out of my body. It's bringing it to the surface so I can let it go. But I do feel like sometimes, especially in these past couple days, like weird joints will hurt, or I feel like one of my joints moves almost like it's got a hitch in it. And I feel like, when I can really focus, I'm staying with Sherry. You guys might know Sherry, who works with Meditate. And we did a little ecstatic dancing before we went to do some setup the other night. And I will say, I felt a lot of those things kind of release and smooth out. And I feel like I need to do another dance this morning. So I think I can definitely tell if I have something that's stuck in my body because my joints just don't seem to move as smoothly. So these are just things to think about as you're moving about your life and you go, oh, geez, my knee's hurting today. Maybe you don't have a trapped emotion there, something stuck there, but maybe you do. So maybe doing some dancing or some movement in a slow, easy way could really help kind of smooth that out. Unlike with typical workouts, again, we're not trying to do as many. It's not about as many reps as you can. It's paying attention. So instead of having our focus and our energy outward, with somatic exercises, somatic therapy, somatic movement, we pull that focus inside. We pull it back into ourselves so that we can really pay attention to our own bodies. Getting more in touch with our body can also have the added benefit of increasing our emotional awareness. Many people who have trouble expressing difficult emotions find it easier to convey them through movement. I can tell you when I lead a dance or when I am just involved in a dance, everyone is in their own little space and you can see people just given it all they have and just really expressing those emotions. And there's crying and there's laughing and burping and all of those things because, we're pulling that energy in and then releasing it. And it really is it's a beautiful practice. And, even though you're doing it with other people, maybe in the room, it really is all about the self. So that's pretty cool. Many people recognize that our emotional health can influence our movement. However, we may not realize that movement can also have a profound effect on our emotional health. Have you noticed that when you feel sad or apprehensive, your movements become slower and your body becomes more rigid? Likewise, if you are anxious or stressed, your response may either be rapid and hypervigilant, or you may completely freeze with terror or be unable to move. Within the health field of somatics, we refer to ourselves as somas. A soma is a giant sensory organism which absorbs all emotions, beliefs, cultures, movement, experiences, injuries, habits, and life events which have molded us to the unique person that we are today. We all have a different history. We all have personal battles and triumphs, health conditions. We all have different jobs. We all have different families and hobbies and things going on. All of these areas of our life have shaped the person we are today. And that is why it is unhealthy to compare ourselves to others, because we are all very different and special. As a soma, we know that our mind and body cannot be separated, that one easily influences the other. Due to this knowledge, we know that movement is very important to create changes to our brain. Somatic movement is very powerful because this mindful practice deliberately wakes up areas of our brain which communicate to certain body systems and organs. It's why we feel so good after exercise. I think it is the endorphins, but it's also, there's portions of our brain that are waking up when we do these things that do communicate to certain bodies and body systems and organs. Somatic movement allows us to become fully aware of how our soma is moving or not moving in some cases. Slowly and mindfully moving allows us to notice how our habits have been changing the tension in our muscles. Within a short amount of time, we realize that this powerful yet subtle movement practice actually changes the plasticity or wiring of our brain. You can teach old dog new tricks, by the way. So don't think that, if you're a certain age that you can't change that neuroplasticity, because you can. By actually sensing and feeling what our nervous system is quietly doing in the background when we are busy with life, it allows us to gain greater insight into our habits, our behavior, our mindset, and so much more. This insight creates a learning environment, allowing us to become acquainted with what our soma actually needs in order to reduce pain, improve posture, move freely, and develop a deeper understanding of mindfulness. This practice helps to alleviate feelings of anxiety and stress. This movement practice allows us to pay close attention to our soma, our sensations, our position in space, the subtle changes occurring with our digestive system, our breathing, our heart rate. By practicing self-movements, we are able to dial down the stress response. Only then can our central nervous system switch over from self-preservation and survival mode to slowing down, learning, and absorbing new information. So how does somatic movement work exactly? So in most cases, except dance, in order to be effective, a somatic movement should be performed as slowly as possible. So if you've ever watched someone doing Tai Chi, those movements are very deliberate, but they're very slow. The human nervous system, which controls our posture and movement, must learn new things very slowly. With practice, we are able to gradually speed up and perform movements more quickly while still maintaining form and control. When we do movements quickly, we are not learning anything new. We are simply reinforcing existing learned patterns. I kind of put the caveat in here, except for dance, because we're going to talk about that in a minute, because I do not believe that, that's necessarily the case in all things. As with everything, it has little caveats of things. So a somatic movement must also be performed consciously with our complete internal focus and attention. Conscious attention is key to this learning process. We can't learn something new if we aren't aware of what we're doing. So again, when I lead a dance or when I take a dance class, usually what the instructor first tells you to do is to pull your awareness from out here and bring your awareness back in here. So the whole dance, you're not paying attention to what anybody else is doing. You are feeling into your own experiences and into your own body. And I think that's really important. We don't take the time to do that. I will say, when I do my sound bath now, one of the first things that I ask the participants in my sound bath to do is that very same thing. Also, I always say to them, okay, I'd like you to take your energy from being outward and start to pull that energy inward. That way, when they're in that sound bath, they're really paying attention and focusing on their own internal space. Somatic movement is exploratory in nature. Even when we practice a somatic movement with the intention of improving our posture or movement in a specific way, we still need to be focused on the internal experience of the movement rather than on the end result. Focusing on the experience and process rather than the end result can be a difficult concept for many people to grasp. It comes back to how our nervous system learns new things. If we practice a movement as if it is the first time we have done it, we will notice something new and learn something new each time. And the learning process will be most efficient and effective. So basically, you know, if you're doing Tai Chi or you're doing yoga or you're doing things and you go, oh, okay, I have these movements down. Sometimes we then go on autopilot and we just do those movements for the sake of doing the movements. But I think what we have to keep coming back to is making sure that we're, even though we know those movements by heart, it's about that doing it with intention. So instead of just going on autopilot, now maybe you're doing these yoga poses and you're doing these things without thinking about it. I want you to keep, you know, you want to keep that focus, even though you're doing that movement and you've done it a million times, it's keeping that focus and intention that you're going to keep focused right where you should be. Practicing somatic movement is quite different than doing sit-ups or push-ups. It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. In a general sense, any movement can be a somatic movement if it is performed slowly, consciously, and with the intention of focusing on the internal experience of the movement. So I would say it's almost like, for me, you know, mindful walking or mindful meditation or mindful movement. It's all about, instead of going on that autopilot, being present when you're doing these things. And that's kind of at the base of everything that we talk about. So somatic therapy. What is somatic therapy? Somatic therapy is based on the nervous system. It stems from the research idea that nerve signals from the brain travel through the somatic nervous system in the spine into the body and therefore have a motoric physical reaction. That means when a memory, a feeling, or an emotion is being triggered, it has a direct effect on the body and its physical reaction. Somatic therapy is a healing method that links emotions with the body to access parts of the subconscious mind, which are stored in the cells of the body. It's a feeling-based therapy and therefore helps to release old stories, traumas, and energetic blockages from the body through movement to allow more flow, growth, and happiness in our lives. Somatic therapy recognizes that everything which happened in our life has been stored not only in the subconscious mind, but also in the cell tissue of the body, and therefore has left an emotional imprint on our system. Whatever has a memory in our mind also has an energetic correspondence in the body. While cognitive therapy works on healing the past by talking about it and finding new solutions to recurring problems through a change in behavior or a shift in perspective, somatic therapy works on healing the past by allowing feelings in the body related to these events to show up and be released through movement. The body therefore becomes the guide, the therapist, and the healer. Through movement, dance, and physical expression, emotions are set free and old imprints leave the system by bringing a shift on a deep psychophysical level, which is pretty cool. In that way, otherwise ignored parts of the body become alive. Contracted muscles become flexible again, and stuck energy starts flowing freely. Somatic therapy continues where cognitive therapy sometimes fails. So when talking and relieving the past does not heal the trauma, it means there is still something stored in the cells that needs to find its way to freedom in a different way. The best way to release this stored junk is through physical movement, through conscious physical movement. So, you know, it's interesting. Sometimes I feel like I encounter people and they say, you know, man, I don't know what happened, but I feel like over the past couple months, my joints have gotten really stiff and I feel like my body is just not moving. And then when I really dig into talking with that person, maybe there's some rigidity going on in their lives or in their thought patterns or in how they're living their life or moving through things, or they feel like they are being stifled in how they want to move about the world. And it really does kind of show up in this almost like the body gets stuck. It can't move. It becomes stiff because the energy can't flow. And if you can get people doing dance or yoga or, you know, any sort of somatic exercises, a lot of the times they start to feel into their body and go, oh, that feels really good. Oh, I haven't moved my body like that in a while. Because when we get stiff, we don't push that stiffness. We don't push because we're like, oh, I know this happens to me. I feel like really maybe over the past, God, 20 years or something, I've just been accumulating things and I haven't danced or just, you know, without like going to karaoke and doing drunk dancing or something. I haven't just, you know, danced and just let it all go and not thought about anything, but just moved my body how it felt like it needed to move. Even if I looked crazy, even if I didn't understand why I was moving. So when I got back from Costa Rica last year, I had a beautiful experience with Sam, who is the director of mindfulness at Meditate School of Mindfulness. And she did an ecstatic dance in Costa Rica. And I was like, ecstatic dance, whatever. I don't know what this is, but I'm going to go. I'm going to do it. I was like, totally like, boo, thumbs down. Oh my goodness. I had the most incredible experience and the most amazing heart-centered release. And it really made me feel super raw and vulnerable afterwards. But I will say, I knew right away that this was something that I wanted to learn more about, that I wanted to do more with, that I wanted to bring to my clients because it was so beautiful. And the release happened and I didn't have to put a name to it. I didn't have to relive it. It was just energy that came up and out. And, you know, I don't know that I've ever felt something so powerful like that. So, and now I feel like in my day-to-day life, since I started dancing more, I'm moving my body differently. My body moves more freely. I actually have better posture. I'm moving parts of my body that I feel like I haven't moved in a long time in some weird way. So I feel like when we can get into those practices and now that I'm incorporating dance into my life, maybe not every day, but at least a couple days a week, I'll put on, you know, a couple songs that make me feel really happy and I'll dance around my house or around my office. And it is amazing how more free my body feels, but also I feel like my energy is moving more freely. And I feel like I'm now noticing in my body when something is stiffening up and okay, what is that all about? And is this because I've been sitting on an airplane for 5 days and I've been sleeping like this next to some stranger? Or is it because I have something going on that I'm storing or holding in there? So I think it also gives me that space to really reflect into myself. So before, if my neck was hurting, I would go, oh, it's because of the airplane and flying sucks and whatever. So, but now I take a second to examine, is that just from flying or whatever it is from, or is this something else? Did something happen and my shoulders got all tight? Now I have to figure out, you know, so it has now given me that focused awareness where now instead of just chalking it up to I'm just getting older and my body stinks sometimes, to maybe it's more than that. And when I'm dancing, I really feel into those places and I really feel what those areas need to release. And then if they don't release after a dance, doesn't mean that maybe it's just my body being old and grouchy, maybe, but maybe there's more layers there that are yet to uncover. And, but I will say it really, and now if I hear music, not that I didn't used to kind of bebop along, but now I find I am moving to music just all the time now. So really digging into this somatic practice for me, I mean, in sound healing, we talk about the stuck energies and moving that energy out of the body and the energy field. You know, I think that sound healing is really awesome for that. But what I have discovered is doing an ecstatic dance where you're really working the body and moving those things out really deeply from the body. Then when people go down, so at the end of a free form dance, we go into integration, which is basically Savasana. Then you come in with a sound bath, and holy moly, all of those things that you've just really released and moved are totally cleared out. And then you're getting those new higher frequencies and vibrations in the body. And it can take your practice to a whole new level. So if you do yoga, if you do dance, if you do it, maybe you're a personal trainer. If you can come to the space where you could encourage your people that that are coming in maybe for a workout session, maybe you could even have an area where you do somatic exercise. Instead of doing those reps, you help people kind of heal through exercise. So, if you're a coach, these are great practices. If somebody has things that they're not working out, have them consciously move, have them take a dance class, have them do a somatic yoga class, have them do the things that you know that they can do to move their body to work these things out. And then you can come in with your coaching and your sound and meditation and all of those things and really help them just really peel back all those deep layers. So I think that for me, this has been a game changer. This somatic piece for me, really focusing consciously and intentionally on how my body moves. So ecstatic dance, or somatic dance, or freeform dance. I say freeform dance a lot now, because ecstatic dance has this weird, people hear ecstatic dance just like me when I was in Costa Rica and they go, ecstatic dance is so weird. And it's different. And I think it's, sometimes it's uncomfortable, especially dancing. I think we're all like, oh my gosh, I have to be an amazing dancer to dance in front of other people. And you don't, in ecstatic dance, it's not about paying attention to other people. You are in a room with other people and you have to just get over, nobody's looking at you. The whole point of the dance is for them to pull into themselves. So you just have to let that go. And if you can, and you can get into this space where you're just doing it for you, it has been the most amazing practice. And so, but ecstatic dance makes people like, oh, this is a woo-woo, this is weird, and the hippies do this. And well, maybe the hippies do it, but we're also doing it too. So, I think it's really cool, and I think it's really important. So, so the powerful healing of freeform dance allows shifts that were otherwise not possible. It's the simple act of moving freely as needed in the moment, allowing the muscles to stretch and the energy to flow wherever it needs to flow, which allows for long-held physical memories of past events to surface, integrate, and heal. That is when the energy starts to find new ways to express itself. That is when instant transformation and shifts occur, which are bigger than the mind can comprehend. While we might not always be aware of the fact that our memory makes our body either stiff, relaxed, loose, or tight, it does show clearly that body, mind, and energy are always linked together. The more we connect to the feelings in our body, the more we observe the direct link between our thoughts, memories, and emotions, and how our body expresses its opinion to the same. Somatic practices in dance uses this information to its advantage by allowing people to physically express their emotions and to choose the movement that helps them to either increase positive feelings or to release negative feelings. When the energy in the body is being rewritten, it also allows the information to travel back to the brain through the somatic nervous system so that the memory in the subconscious mind is being rewritten or completely released altogether. What Osho invented years ago with his active meditations to help people free themselves of anger, frustration, depression, guilt, shame, fear, is finding a new form of healing now in somatic dance or freeform dance, ecstatic dance. Dance is always considered somatic therapy because it produces endorphins, which are those feel-good hormones in the body, and has an overall relaxing and uplifting effect on the body, mind, and spirit. However, dance takes it a step further. Through simple guidance, prompts where to move, how to explore space, the body and emotions, what to try creatively, and who to dance with. New pathways are being created, and the dancer is taken on an inner and outer exploration of self. This creates a far greater mental, physical, emotional connection than any usual dance, and opens the body up to fully express itself in all its glory. So basically, when we do a dance, at least the dance that I have been trained in, and what really makes sense to me is it's a very chakra based dance. And so when my dance, we call them dance maps. And so when you're working on these dances, you start with very, very slow beats per minute. And that is kind of that root chakra. And through that first song, you're just opening up your body, and you're warming up your body, and you're doing these movements where you're really, maybe you're stomping your feet, or you're feeling the connection of every square inch of your foot on the ground. And you're really connecting into that root. But then I also lead people through breathing exercises in each of the chakras, and through a root lock practice, which is basically where you pull the Kundalini energy by squeezing up that perineum on the inhale and imagining that energy moving up higher and higher and higher as you work up through the chakras. You're connecting, you're kind of pulling that Kundalini energy to come up and connect and clear the whole channel. So we start with slow beats per minute. And then when we move up to the sacral, the beats per minute get a little faster. Then we move up into that solar plexus, that fire center, and the beats per minute get faster and faster and faster. And then when we get to the heart, they become more light and more prayer-like, and then through the throat. And so we take you on this journey of, we start slow, but then it's just like, as you move your body, and I direct different movements. So with the sacral, it's water. So you're going to move your body like it's water. How does water move? And by guiding people through all of these things, it really does help move the body in a certain way that can release things from certain areas of the body. Now, I also learned through dance that making figure eight movements, so figure eight movements with your shoulders or your hips, that figure eight movement can move stuck energy out of your body better than any other movement. So if you ever feel stuck, try to imagine that you can do a figure eight with that part of your body, and really feel into that and see if that can really help you release it. And, when you build up those beats per minute, it's almost like breath work. If you guys have ever done breath work practices or anything like that, breath work really, like, you start out breathing, and then it gets faster and faster and faster and faster and faster until you feel all those stuck emotions in your gut, and you're coming up and up and up and up until they're released. This dance is kind of the same way. We're starting with those beats per minute, and we're moving the body, and then we get it moving faster, and we're breathing exercises, and we're doing all these movements, and I'm sharing different things about the chakras, and it just, boom, all of those things just come out. And if you've never done a freeform dance or an ecstatic dance, if Alex and Tiffany, if you guys have a practitioner in your area, if you've never done it, I would highly recommend it. I think it's something that is so beautiful, and it has really changed a lot of things for me, but especially how I move and how I think about, if my body isn't moving so great, what does that mean? Maybe it's just because I'm old, but maybe it's not. So it's pretty cool. So the side effects are ecstatic feelings, greater clarity, physical well-being, and balanced emotions. Some people even report having released long-standing emotional blockages that could not be addressed in any other therapy modality. Therapy does not always have to be years long. It also does not necessarily have to be accompanied by much talking, chewing up events that are long past, or to try to find solutions in your head. It can be as simple as dancing, feeling, and enjoying. This way of thinking about movement can be applied to any practice now that you have the knowledge about what somatics is all about. Knowing that it is a practice of mindfulness really brings it all together and is a reminder to do all things with intention and consciousness. That is really the secret sauce of all of our mindful practices, right? So, I think what we've touched on today with the somatics really just adds another layer to the sound healing that we're already doing, right? And so if we think about moving stuck emotions in the body by using Himalayan bowls and tuning forks, how cool would it be to have somebody come in for a session and you put bowls and stuff and you do a sound healing around the body, and then you take them through a very beautiful dance afterwards, so they can take all that stuff that's just bubbled out and dance it out, or to do the dance before and then have them lay down and you soothe them with those modalities of bowls on the body or tuning forks, or have a private sound session. So I'm actually setting up some things right now where I'm going to do like a 45-minute dance, and I'm going to do a 45-minute sound, and I'm going to do this in groups, but I'm also going to do it in private sessions. So I will lead my one-on-one students through a dance, and then I'll have them hop on my table and I'll do some bowls on the body, and I'll do some tuning forks and do the bowls around the body, and kind of do almost like a mini sound session. And I just can't wait to see how it really transforms my client, but also transforms me, because I dance while my students dance. So I'm working out my own stuff too. And then going into the sound, although I'm the facilitator, that sound is still coming back to me, right? So every session that I do is also healing to me and clearing things out for me too. So yeah, so that's kind of somatics and somatic movements. I'm going to do a little bit more research on the somatic nervous system. I think that's going to be like a little separate part of, I didn't want to get too much into the, the anatomy of the body or the somatic nervous system, but we definitely have that somatic nervous system. And that is what we're clearing out when we're doing all these dances and things. So, yeah. So Tiffany and Alex, I know, Tiffany, you said that you've been digging into this for the past couple of months. I love that. I love that so much. What exactly have you been doing any practices, or have you just been doing some reading, or what have you been up to with your digging into this stuff?
Yeah, a little bit of both. And I'm also a massage therapist. So I came to it after hearing someone talk about, the iliopsoas, which is the muscle of the soul. And so it's that muscle like right in our pelvic floor that literally connects our upper and lower body. And so for me, I've been having some issues with low back pain. And so I'm looking for all the things that will help me move more with ease and be in less pain. And I also practice Tai Chi. I've been getting more into that. So I'm looking for ways to kind of move my practice into those softer, more therapeutic ones. I practice or teach a vinyasa flow in yoga. But I even find with that, I'm not doing a true vinyasa where it's that consistent, I'll say more heavy flow. It's soft, not yin, so it's not like complete restorative like, but you do hold the poses a little bit longer, still flowing where you keep the heart rate up and you're able to pace your breathing, but not that consistent where you're like it's like you're chasing the breath.
Yeah. I love that. Have you done any dancing? Have you tried any dancing?
I have not, but I almost signed up for, I was trying to sign up for a training, but got there too late to do the dance training part. So I may look into that next year when it's only offered twice a year. And they were getting ready to do the fall session, but I think we do have a dance studio here. I don't know that she does ballet. I haven't seen many adult dancing classes, so I'll have to ask if she offers anything for adults, just like general dance or general movement classes through dance, to see if that's something that I can, get some live hands-on experience.
For sure. And I would be happy to help you with any information that you might need. And also, there's a great book, the lady that I trained through. And if you feel like, where are you located? Are you in Georgia? Where are you?
Alabama.
Okay.
Montgomery.
So, if you ever want to travel to Florida on vacation or something, there's a great, her name is Star. So I'm going to show you the book here. It's called Heal Through Dance. And this is the lady that I took my training through, and you can actually buy this book on Amazon. And she is an amazing, amazing lady. And she spent time in India, and it's kind of where this ecstatic dance came to her. And she really writes out, in this book, she really writes out all the different key codes that she has come up with that works through this dance, and kind of explains how it all works, and different grounding meditations. And this is really a beautiful book. And I trained with her. She's over on the East Coast of Florida. She does her trainings, I think, 3 or 4 times a year, if you want to look into that ever. And her class is called Heal Through Dance, and her name is Star Triana. And the name of her business is J-Star, Jaistar Studios. If you ever decide like, oh, I can't find a class around here, I really want to dig into this, I wouldn't hesitate. So basically, the class is 3 months. For the first 2 months, you have to come for a weekend, 1 weekend each month. And then for the rest of the period, you're out dancing and creating your own dance maps. And then you hook up with her like via Zoom or a call to kind of finish that up. So you don't have to go for 3 months, and, you know, you have to go 1 weekend for 2 months. But it's a great training, and it really has changed a lot of things. And I think that movement, like you said, it's not too fast. Now with the dance, we do get into that fast space, but we work into it from that slow space. So we start out slow, but then at one point you're in that trance dance space, but that's really like that building of energy. And then that trance space is like that release. And then we bring it back down, and then doing a sound healing after that just really make sure those things are cleared out, and then kind of solidifies that new neural pathway within the body. So it's pretty cool. I love that you're doing all that. I love that. I think for me, it was just the component that was missing. I feel like sound and everything, I love how that works, but I feel like for me, there needed to be like a little bit more. And I feel like that movement component has really changed how I move in the world, but it also makes me more aware of my body in a way that I wasn't before. So I love that.
Yeah, and I think for me, I feel so in my womb space, I feel rigid. Like I know it could be softer. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I'm pushing through things, powering through exercise. Even when I think I'm soft, I'm not as soft and fluid as I think the body could be.
Yeah. And it's interesting how doing certain movements can make you aware of that in a deeper way. Instead of just going, oh, there must be something going on there, we go, oh, I wonder what's going on there, and how do I work on this, and how do I make this better? And I think it's that focused intention, right? So that's really cool. I love it. I love it. Awesome. How about you, Alex? Do you do any movement or any dancing or yoga or Tai Chi or anything like that?
I have to kind of, I love the subject. It's fascinating. I'm actually driving now to church with the kids.
Oh,
So, but I think you should do like, you know, a second chapter, if you will, like a section about this subject. There's so much there that you mentioned here that I'm fascinated by. That actually, I love dancing, right? And I don't know if Tiffany knows, but I'm from Brazil. So growing up, I want to be an actor and dancer, right?
I love
and
it.
I remember, right, during the rehearsals, right? Before we started to the play, you know, the director said, "No, guys, we gotta go on the stage and just dance. Don't look at anybody else. Just go like into your own space." And it was so thrilling. It was so like, you know, amazing, because after that we got into into rehearsing and got into your roles. And you felt like so light and so like, you know, and not just that, just it built each other's confidence, right? Because sometimes people like so like, especially now, everybody just like so like during the pandemic, everybody, you know, stay home and just through their devices. It's just like, you know, to try to express themselves. It's just like, you know, I think now people like, you know, having a hard time. So once to just like now, even like now to speak or to show to your body that you can do things, right? So I think now, just like now, we need that to build up that confidence. It's just like now I can move. Doesn't matter what age I am, I can move. I can do things, right? It gives that confidence for you to like, you know, go into places and do things and help other people, right? So there's this aspect of like the dance that just like, you know, fascinates me. And I'm not doing anything now, but now a year ago, I somehow I got into my Instagram feed about Qigong, and I said, this is fascinating because just not, there's so much there on those movements can, keep you, give you more energy. And even like, for my son, he has the issue with the kidney, you can actually, through some movements, you can massage the kidney, you can massage some of your organs, right? And release and help activate, send energy to those organs to stimulate. So there's so much there now. And so through the practice that we try to develop, me and my wife, she's more on the emotion code, body code. So she actually been helping people releasing those traumas, right? Those trapped emotions. And I'm going to the whole route of sound healing. I want to incorporate Qigong into the whole practice in music. And I mean, there's so much there that I want to explore and learn from you guys. And but I think that we touched on a very interesting point, just like combine those modalities to help release and empower the body. So there's so much more I want to say, but I have to go. But this is an amazing subject, and maybe we can explore more into that. Dive more into the whole theme, and just like But I would love to get a class with you or with your other instructor about the static dance. I don't know anything about it, but just, I think just the idea of like being out there and moving, and it just inspires me to do something about that. For sure.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. And don't forget that if you're working with older people, they can still dance while sitting in a chair. So people who say that they can't move, they can. If they can't move, they can sit and they can move as much as they can. And it can be really empowering for older people as well. So
sure, I saw I don't know if it was something that was created for Instagram, but there's I don't know, months ago I saw like an open space and people are dancing, and there's this old guy with I don't know, he was sitting in a wheelchair or something, or he was with a cane, and the music was so contagious, right? The beat, and he would just start dancing, and he throw the cane out and start moving, and I was just I was like, oh my gosh, it was amazing. So I wish everyone could see that now. And but anyway, I'm sorry I have to jump.
Yeah, that's okay. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure. Let's connect more. Tiffany, keep doing what you're doing. Love it. And I'm sorry, guys. I love you. And let's dance.
Let's dance. Let's dance. Exactly. Bye, Alex.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, all what he said. This is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. It's one of those things that I think we're starting to do more and more, right? People are starting to lean into these different modalities of dancing or anything like that. And I think we got into all these yoga practices, a lot of us, but then they became almost unconscious, right? We just go into a yoga class and we just move to do the movements but we're not bringing that. I think I have not done a lot of yoga, but I feel like it was probably meant to be an internal practice, right? It was meant to be a conscious practice. And I think for some people, it's more of just going through the movements and then, okay, I've done yoga today. And I think if we can bring people back into that somatic space, that conscious space, I think it really, it increases, it just, power boosts up everything that we're doing. So I love that. And I'm thinking about actually offering, maybe even once a month, Zoom dances. So you guys can be at home and I will just kind of guide you through all of the different things where you can be at home. So you don't have to go anywhere, and I'll offer them on Zoom. So if I ever do that, I will definitely let you know. And maybe we could find a day where we could do some dancing together so that you could really experience that. But if you are interested at all, I would buy this book, honestly, and read through it. And then I think you're going to get a good idea. I think, you're a smart person, how all this works, you're doing this stuff. I really do think that it would be something that would come together for you. So, like I said, I bought the book on Amazon. I'm pretty sure that anyone can buy it, but if you can't, let me know. I'll buy it for you and I'll send it to you. But yeah, so, and like I said, I'm going to put in a section in here about the somatic nervous system, but I really am kind of digging into this myself now that I've started doing dance. So, I'm hoping to put this stuff on the portal, and I'm hoping that I can get you guys some more information on this. But if you come up with anything cool, please let me know. If you're out there doing anything cool, or you find something neat out there, I'd love to know. I'd love to know what's going on out there. So, sometimes the woo-woo-ier, the better. I feel like
That
so.
part. Well, and I'm in Alabama, so a lot of like there are people here that are into the stuff that I'm in, but it's finding that community too, right?
100%.
And so, because it's also the Bible Belt, so a
Yeah.
lot
Okay.
of have to. It's finding the tribe. I know the people. There are people here that are interested because they've asked me about things that I do that I know I haven't spoken about or advertised. So I
Right.
know that there's interest here. So that's the community that I'm just trying to show up
Yeah.
with the work,
Yeah.
and hopefully those people will gravitate to me, and I can build that presence here and be known for that stuff. And literally, like I said, it's coming from me trying to find ways to heal my own body and move differently.
Yeah.
So I want to naturally be able to feel that in my body. I'm
Yeah.
awkward with
Yeah.
dancing. Like it's
Me too.
not it's
Yeah.
not pretty, and it actually sometimes looks like a whole train wreck.
Oh
But
yeah, but that's okay because
but
I
at least
think
I'm moving.
that's how your body needs to move in that moment, though. I think it's getting rid of that judgment and just moving it the way you. And I think that is the biggest hurdle sometimes in these group dances is people are like, I don't want anybody watching me, but nobody's watching you. They really are pulled into their own. If they're doing it the way they should, they are pulled in. When I do a dance, I am aware of people because we're not crashing into each other, but I'm not looking at them. It's almost like it's a personal experience that I don't need to look into. I'm having my own personal experience. So
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. Awesome. Well,
Awesome.
thank you for attending today. I appreciate it. It
Yes,
was
ma'am.
nice to see your face.
Yeah,
And
you too.
you know, if you have any questions on the dance or you want more information, reach out. And I'll give
I
you
will.
whatever I can.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Enjoy your day.
Bye. You
Bye.
too. Bye-bye.